Hello again, Formula One fans, and in particular Lotus car fans. So prior to this video, I did a video of this car. I'm gonna actually stack the three videos about these Lotus F1 cars right next to each other. But this is a Lotus 81 from the 1980 season, so you can just look at the next video down the list for that thing. But the mail works in different ways, so today we have this one. It's the last of the three cars I ordered from this collection. But this is the first one that actually showed up in the box. So let's take a look here at the box here. You'll see it's 690 yen, which is around $7. And then the date, let's see, 2009. So this is around $7 in 2009. There hasn't been much inflation, so it's pretty much like $7 in today's money even. If you want to pause here, let me focus here. These are all the cars in this collection. Ideally, I'll try to get one of each chassis so I can see the evolution from this company. In particular, I really like the old school ones. But yeah, anyways, the next video after this one will be the Lotus 100 here from the 1990 season, I believe it is. But today in this box, we're looking at the Lotus 88, which is the year after that first model I just showed you. So let's take a look here. In typical Kyosho blister fashion, it's in a blister pack, and it talks about shows the colorways. In this case, it's just the different drivers. Number 11, I think, was Elio De Angelis. I might be mistaken, so I apologize, but I'm more interested in the car than the driver because these cars and these drivers weren't particularly successful in these years they were racing, so it's not stressful for me. Okay, gonna have to take it up the stand here. It's interesting. It looks quite different from the last year. So I did a bunch of research here, and in 1981, the FIA banned a certain technology. Brabham had this thing called the BT49, and it had a adjustable hydraulic suspension that would lower the car and basically give it no suspension but make it really fast aerodynamically. So they banned that, and Lotus was aware of this banning, so they thought of a different way to cheat aerodynamics in the rules, and that is using a twin chassis design. So I pulled up this image here off the internet, and that's a schematic of how this chassis is supposed to work. There's the main chassis with the motor, the fuel tank, the radiator, and the driver, and all that stuff. But the aerodynamics are floating separate from this chassis. So basically, the body of the car could always be a certain distance from the ground, creating the most vacuum or the most downforce. And so it was a really interesting idea. Unfortunately, this car was also banned because they just knew, the FIA knew this would be an extreme advantage if the thing had a consistent amount of downforce as the suspension moves around. So unfortunately, this car was banned. So I thought that was pretty interesting to learn. Okay, let's go into here, and it still has the same Ford Cosworth DFV V8 engine here. It's not really well detailed though in this model, unfortunately. Another thing about this car is it's starting to use a lot of carbon fiber. So this car, along with the McLaren MP4/1, were the first F1 cars to use carbon fiber in large doses. So that's I guess the only other thing I found out about it. So later on, Colin Chapman and the Lotus team were forced to update two of their Lotus 87 chassis as replacements to this so they could continue racing. And for the year, Lotus came in 7th in the Manufacturers' Championship. So they tried, but the FIA banned this thing. And you'll notice it's quite a weird looking F1 car. I've never seen an F1 car look like this. So let's get into the casting then. So it's weird. Well, actually, it's not weird, maybe. I was gonna say there's no tire printing like the last car. It has, Goodyear on it. But when I look at the photo of the real car, there's no printing on those tires either. And it's probably because the car was banned. Maybe, they didn't bother putting Goodyear sponsorship on a car that wasn't gonna be able to race. So, okay, anyways, the printing here on the side is really nice. Essex, I believe, is a petroleum company out of Monaco, Tissot watches, NGK, whatever. Okay, so it's really just slab-sided. This seems to be like an outlet for the radiator. I imagine the radiator must be in here. According to that schematic, it should be here at an angle like that. So the front end, now we have a nose wing, whereas the last year it didn't have a wing at all. It was just all on the chassis. So now we got some downforce here, and then we still have the brake inlets here. These cooling ducts that ram air into the brakes to cool it off. A pretty small opening here for that radiator. Interesting. Must be really high pressure if it's a small opening. Okay. Yes, the interior is just black. There is some molded details, it seems, with like a seat belt buckle and stuff like that. And then an actual round steering wheel, because it's still 1981. They're not D-shaped or rectangular shaped now like nowadays. So yeah, there's a little roll bar here to protect the helmet, or protect the driver from snapping his neck if the thing rolls over. And as I mentioned, pretty lame carburetor screens there, but for $7, I guess. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this a good model for $7? I don't know. I think it is. It's not the greatest Kyosho I've ever seen. It's on the lamer side, but it's still pretty cool, I think. Oh yeah, it is Ilya De Angelis there. That's his name. So that's pretty nicely printed, actually. Okay, so now continue on. I don't know if those are the exhaust pipes or just some other suspension members, because the Cosworth engine is a stressed member, so all the suspension parts will be bolted to that thing, and the driver's cockpit would also be bolted to it. So, okay, well, let's see in the back here what's going on. Maybe I'll flip it over for some better light. But yeah, I mean, it's nice that there's actually air passing underneath this thing and in the middle there. So we got some details here, that engine and then the suspension bolting up to it. We got some rivet press marks there. There's the Lotus 88, Kyosho. The models don't really say what year they're made, but we saw that on the box, so I guess we know. But yeah, if you look at this undercarriage here, you know, it's just basically a reversed wing. You know how it tapers upwards here, and that's what's creating that suction when it's flying over the ground. So it's interesting, the center channel is lowered, probably because the driver's butt is like right there. Okay, so it's just a really wacky looking F1 car. It's just a rectangle, and how it swoops up, it almost looks like a Pinewood Derby car. I don't know if you guys are ever in the Cub Scouts. I was in the Cub Scouts as a kid, and it looks like something I would have carved as a kid, as like a 6-year-old child. I never made it to Eagle Scouts, but anyways, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. There's also some vents here for the rear brakes, I guess, but there's no black paint or anything like that. It's just the shape that's molded in there. Sorry, the camera's having a hard time focusing there. Okay, well, anyways, I guess we'll put it up on the spins here and just compare it to the photograph here. So let me move in a little bit, try to get the best angle. It looks pretty similar to me. Alright, you'll notice there's no sponsorship on the tires. I think Kyosho did a good job there. The height of the... Well, I guess that rollover bar is different. Unless maybe there's a mid-season change. This is just a rounded slot. But this one's got like some curving inness. It's a little bit different. Okay, but I'm still happy with the model. I think it's an interesting part of Formula 1 history because it was banned immediately, or pretty early on. Okay, so here's the car that happened a year before, 1980, and then in 1 year later, trying to cheat the rules, you can see how much different it is, right? It's just a really radical change in its design thinking. Since this model came in third, I actually have a video that's going to come up afterwards of this car. This is the 102. So let's see if we can fit all three on this spinny thing. So granted, this is 1981, 9 years later, 1990, so there's obviously big changes that have occurred in those 9 years. And this is now starting to look like a modern F1 car with the side pod sticking out, right, and a front wing and a narrow rear wing as well. So it's pretty cool. I really like the evolution and the thinking of how these F1 teams are trying to always beat each other by looking at loopholes in the rules. But unfortunately, Lotus got caught out on this one. Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next reviews. I think I have a Williams F1 car coming in the mail, so that'll come later on. All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you. Bye.